Okay, anybody else that wants to say anything? Kim. Kim Callian.
To give me a minute,
Oh,
get myself. I think I can make this work.
Yeah,
Yeah?
raise it up a little bit.
Okay.
Ready? You want to get it for me?
No,
Oh,
Right
you're a
here?
teacher. You should know this.
actually, I'm not that
Oh, there you
gifted.
go.
Is that better?
Good?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm gonna rely on my notes, so forgive me.
You have to get close to it.
Okay, I'll get really close. First off, I'd just like to say how honored I am to share some of my fond memories. It's been a walk down memory lane for me just being here and hearing some of this. But
Move it up a little
not loud enough?
bit. Just move it up a little bit.
I know what you mean. The mic? Oh, move it up.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
there you go.
Wow, I feel like I'm a rock star. Okay, this is better?
Yeah.
All right. She was such a special lady, Jan Scatterija, who I loved as a mother. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kim Callian, and I am a Royal High School graduate, class of 1977. Didn't know I was so outnumbered here today. Wow, see me high. I know, I forgot my pom-poms. I was officially Mom's daughter-in-law for 11 years, but we were much more than that. I met Mom when I was a lifetime ago, when I was 19 years old. We developed a bond quickly. She made me feel welcome and safe early on. Before long, I was a regular fixture in her home. Like Kevin said, literally 2 weeks, and they couldn't get rid of me. She took me in, insisting that I stay for dinner nightly. No joke, nightly. Until I was given the title of the salad queen in the household. That was my job. And I think I really kept everybody healthier for it, really. On weekends, in the early days, we would sit for hours in the kitchen, playing cards, smoking cigarettes, sharing stories and laughter, while Kevin and Dad would watch sports constantly in the den. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, but we might have been bad influences on one another. Well, the smoking didn't last long, but the bond was just beginning. I was lucky enough to be the beneficiary of her wisdom and support as she unselfishly helped me grow to be a better wife, mother, and person. Alex and Nick, our little ones, knew Grandma Scat was there for them with her ready smile, no matter what. She taught me about being generous through her thoughtful example. She wasn't one to preach and talk to you about things. She was just there, and I learned so much just from watching her actions. After Alex, and I learned this, I used to tease her, a little side note, about the whole card giving thing. We would shop for cards and just be lost in our own world, never finding the right one. But I would say that she must own stock in Hallmark because she kept them in business. So along those lines, after Alex came along, every Mother's Day, Mom would send me a Mother's Day card. And that was absolutely new to me. I always made sure she got a Mother's Day card. But she told me how much she appreciated all the love and care I gave to her cherished grandchildren. So she wanted to honor me as well. And I was just amazed by that. I had not met a person like that before. Her generosity knew no bounds. We're skipping ahead. I think we are, yes. Another example was during one of our countless shopping outings. We were in Ocean Beach. We have an antique district not far, looking for a ring she had been wanted for a long time. And OB is a small beach community, with a rather large homeless population. And as we would leave these shops, we saw people literally sitting outside against the walls, some with their worldly belongings beside them. Mom wasn't fazed. She just would bend down, look this person in the eye, offer a kind word. I couldn't really hear what she said, but she was very happy, and she would just hand over money, and we would just walk along. I didn't say anything, she didn't say anything, but that's how I learned from her. During a time, and it's kind of is still continuing through today, when this community chose to look away, Mom had the grace and empathy to offer help. We didn't find the perfect ring that day, but we left many folks grateful for her kindness. Again, last year, I'm surprised you didn't tell this story, it's still more of my thunder. Last year, Kevin and Mom and I were having lunch at a local restaurant in San Diego. And when she got up and excused herself from the table, we just assumed she was headed for the ladies' room. Instead, I saw her up at the cashier's desk, and I thought, oh, she's doing it again. She's beating Kevin to the punch, and she's paying for our lunch before it all happens. And so then she comes walking back down the aisle, and she stopped about three booths away from us and had a short conversation with a couple that were sitting there having lunch. So she comes back to our table, and we ask her what she's been up to. And she said, I saw that man in uniform and thought I'd buy their lunch to thank him for his service. She didn't hesitate or want recognition. If there was something she could do to help, she just simply did it. Just little things like that. It just knocks you over. Okay, so we know she had a great sense of humor. The whole thing about the spreader is too funny because when I would spend so much time at their house in the early days when I really knew nothing, a butter knife was what you use for everything, okay? So I would pull out the butter knife to spread mayonnaise on a piece of bread for a sandwich or whatever. And I was always told, no, Kim, the spreaders are in this drawer. And I would get the spreaders out. And I learned how to use spreaders for everything, everything had its use, and that was its use. So I don't need that spreader because I have a drawer full of spreaders now. So you guys are good. Fight over it all you want. So we did have a ton of laughs as well. And this one is just priceless. On the morning after one of her overnight stays, I'm reading this because it's good. She mistook our salt cellar. It's a little container of salt. It's a fancy term for this little salt. You take the lid off and you pinch it when you're cooking, okay? So she thought it was a sugar bowl and added a big heaping spoonful of salt to her coffee. And she took a sip and just made it in time to spit it out at the sink. And from then on, we were teased about the delicious coffee that we always have at our house. Or the other time that I tried to poison her. Take your pick. She teased Jim and I, and she said that this was how we keep overnight guests to just one day. So there's so many stories I could add and enjoy hearing many, many more. But I'm going to close with this. It's well known that Mom loved hummingbirds. And I know many of us over the years, we would talk on the phone and I would say, there's right outside. I can see it as we're speaking. It was almost like they knew. But every time I would see a hummingbird, I always thought of her, knowing how she delighted in them. And we used to talk about all the varieties and the colors and the crazy things they can do. And now they continue to be a reminder of the joy and unwavering love she brought into our lives every day. Thank you.
Just so you know, all the talk about the spreader, the price of the spreader is going up rapidly, so get your bid in as quickly as possible. Kim and I have known each other for 41 years. We were 21 and 19, like I said, and Kim, this doesn't have to do with my mom, but it's just a funny story I want to tell you. Kim, I'm talking with her the other day, and she said, how are you doing on your eulogy? And I don't know why I don't like that word. I've never given a eulogy. I don't like going to funerals. Most people don't. I was just coming up here to talk about my mom, and I said, I'm kind of going back and forth, and I'm trying to figure out exactly. So she said, you're not done with it? And I said, no. And she said, well, I was going to run what I was going to say by you to see what you think about it. And I said, okay, that's fine. Go ahead. And she says, no, I'm not going to now. And I said, why not? And she said, I'm afraid you'll steal some of my good stuff. So, okay. Kim said one other thing that reminded me about my mom, and I forgot what it was. Anyway, actually, in talking about our two sons, who are now 31 and 29, I was just reminded, so I have 3 older siblings. They're all within 2.5 years of each other, which kind of blows me away. 3 children within 2.5 years, and then I was a 2.5 year gap, which is why my brother said I was an accident. So I was the baby of the family. But when I think back in it, my mom was, I want to say, Nancy, help me with this, 19 or 20 when she had Phil? So she was 19 or 20 when she had her first child. So by the time she's 24, 25, she has 4 kids. And the reason I bring that up is as we kind of went through us becoming adults and having our own kids, I remember going to Disneyland with my mom and my 2 sons. And so it was just a summer trip to Disneyland, and we got there at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we did not leave until they closed at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't think anything of it at the time, except when I think back to how old she was my age that I am right now. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to Disneyland with my grandkids from 9 in the morning till 1 in the morning. And she was such a trooper. And I kept saying to her, Mom, are you good? And she goes, oh, yeah, no problem. And she was literally the same age I am now. And she did it because we were having a great time. And again, that's part of who she was.